right, let's do a quick audio visual check. How's everybody doing tonight? On this beautiful, what is it? It's Thursday. No, it's not Thursday. Tuesday. Sorry, my bad. Sounds good. Looks good. Thank you, Joy Douglas. So, yeah, let's just jump into it, right? Welcome to Slow Markets. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. As always, there is our Topstep risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. This is not a signals class. Everything we go through tonight is for educational purposes only. As always, the itinerary for tonight is we'll do our rapid fire. We'll talk about NASDAQ, crude oil, maybe the Nikkei, which is the Japanese market, and then gold at 8 p.m. Central. And see if we could find something to set up there. Maybe look at a few different trades in other markets, look at a few overnight trades. We did have a trade running overnight last night in the NASDAQ, and it worked out uncannily well. We rallied up overnight last night, and we hit our take profit, which worked really amazing as an example, not as signals. But here we are. This is the NASDAQ. Daily chart on the NASDAQ. It's been kind of just consolidating, right? Nothing too crazy that we were seeing on this dramatic, end of July, beginning of August. We're starting to, dare I say, consolidate a little bit. The market's a lot more tame. There's a lot less volatility. We're kind of making, is this a flagging pattern? I don't know. That maybe this is a flagging pattern. And then, if we do start to rally and break to highs again, we could always look back and say, yeah, that was a flagging pattern. Or if we do break down, we could say, you know what, we came up, we tested this, really key area of, where are we at? I got to get used to these drawing tools again. Oh, come on. I did an update, and let's right back to square one. Let's get these drawing tools in the line. But anyway, yeah, I think you guys get the point, right? Where this was a key level. It's a key zone, right? Not exact levels, but up here between 20,000 and we're kind of just hovering, consolidating. We came down, we tested the lows. We've rallied right and we've bounced on those. Let me get this drawing tool, or else that's going to bug me for the rest of the night if I do not put it on there. Where did the box go? Come on, Dakota. I could find the rectangle. There it is. There it is. That's a lot better. Back to the basics. So anyway, let's continue to go through this. Let's jump into an hourly chart and talk about today. We'll talk about the overnight trade that we did take. If you guys remember, last night we was looking at something like this. We was looking to buy it if we broke out. We had that buy stop in place. Sure enough, it worked out really well. We got triggered in. We went all the way up. We got exactly at our take profit, pretty close at, 645 was our take profit, hit it. And sure enough, sold off. It hit it about, it's 3 a.m. here, 4 a.m. So it hit it during the London session, which, there is a beautiful example of the slow market type of trades that I love, where we could place trades, we could turn off the computer, we could go to bed, and the trade worked out and everything played out while we were sleeping. We didn't have to stress about it. We didn't have to overreact about anything. We broke out, X, Y, Z. Lots of things happened between where we got in and where we got out. And then, we woke up this morning and sure enough, we did have the sell off and we went all the way down to 19,440s. Immediately rejected on the hourly chart, and this was a beautiful bullish candle where we have this long wick to the downside, rallied up immediately, broke the highs, pulled back, consolidated, and it's kind of a messy kind of day. Really, where were we at from where we were talking about last night? Essentially, we're in the same place where we were last night, right? We are right here around the 19,600. Pretty dang close. Nothing really happened. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And we are right back here. Everyone's been talking about, we do have NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot of people watching that, talking about that, waiting for tomorrow afternoon when the earnings start to come out or when they come out and then start to position. So it's going to be interesting to play. If I was to trade tonight or tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be on the breakout side. I'm not going to be looking for a lot of trending momentum, a lot of trending moves tomorrow and tonight in the markets, just because, yeah, everyone knows. Everyone's waiting for NVIDIA earnings. And why get into a position? Why look for a trending day before that, when maybe we see something similar to what we did today until we get the NVIDIA earnings? And it's going to be after the bell, so we're not going to be trading it anyway. And we should never hold a position after the bell. That is just crazy. I would dare say have positions closed even an hour before, or an hour, maybe that's a little too extent. I mean, even the second half of the day, trade, if you are trading the New York session, me personally, I'll be done, the first few hours if I'm trading the New York session, and just say whatever happens during the lunchtime and the afternoon, I'm done. I'll come back to my slow markets after everything is said and done. Tomorrow we'll be able to cover what went on in the NVIDIA earnings. The markets have already, moved, and we'll be waiting for the open on Thursday morning. That being said, I am still pretty bullish at the way the price action went today. Obviously, we could see we did hold this as a low. We came down, we rejected. We had this one beautiful 1 hour chart, or 1 hour candle there. And, are we making a higher low? It looked like we was making a higher low earlier. This was a great opportunity to get into some longs. I ended up getting into some longs. If you guys don't know, I do trade options, and I bought some, I don't want to go too far in depth or straight too far, but I bought some bullish vertical spreads on the Qs. That could be a little too far in depth, but those are you that do know how to trade options. Vertical bullish calls or spreads on the Qs. Man, I'm horrible at explaining that. But anyway, just bullish. That essentially just bullish. That's what it was today. Looking for areas to take advantage of opportunities to the long side. That being said, I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing, more of the same thing between now and tomorrow. Maybe we could find a similar trade setup that we seen last night, where we're looking to get long if we start to break out. Maybe this is a 3-bar reversal on the hourly chart. For example, we have a move, which is to the downside. We have a major bar. You could call this a hammer, whatever you want to call this. And then the 3-bar reversal will be right there at the top of this candle. And so if we break above it, then sure, you can technically say this is a 3-bar reversal. It usually plays out a lot better during the New York session when there's a lot more volatility, but it's still valid. It still could be valid. And if we do break above this level, maybe there's an opportunity to get into some long trades. I'm going to go ahead and relight this horizontal line. So for example, right there, if we do break above, say 605, 607, maybe we come back up and test these 630s. That could be a trade that I'm going to be watching tonight. After the gold trade plays out, we could, I'll talk about this. This is something that I'm interested in, is looking for a long in the NASDAQ before tonight and tomorrow, before the end of the evening. Now, I mentioned options, and that perked up a lot of traders' ears. Yes, I am a options trader. I absolutely love trading options. One of these days, maybe I'll do an options class. I use Interactive Brokers, Victor. Now, let's go ahead and move to crude oil. We are getting a pullback that I've been wanting in crude oil, right? We had this huge rally. Something that's making me a little bit nervous here in crude oil is we had this huge rally back at the beginning of August, and we had a double top, and that's when we sold off, right? And that's when we started this major sell-off. And so I'm curious about this rally. I'm a little curious. Like we had this rally, we got up to 77.5. I mean, it's not at a major level of support and resistance. I mean, we're kind of just consolidating. I mean, you could say that this was support that might become resistance right here. And then we sold off. And so the question I'm wondering is, do we have a sell-off and a continuation back down to the 70, closer to 72, 73? Or is this a higher low and an opportunity to buy crude oil? I am going to look at this as an opportunity to get long on crude. And the reason being is we do have a lot of resistance and support right here at 75 and 3/4. And we're also, we also have a lot of support and resistance about that same area, 75.5. And we're starting to bounce off of it. This is an hourly chart. And the last basically, 6-7 hours, we've sold off, immediately hit a floor, and kind of slowly drifting up. So, as of right now, just trading what we see, we had a nice rally. It means we're in a, intermediate uptrend. And if this is a pullback, then the opportunity is going to be to the long side, seeing if we could catch a run to $77 a barrel again, back up towards this level. And so the first thing I like to see is, everyone knows that has joined me in slow markets, I like run liquidities here in crude oil. So maybe we can get some type of a run of liquidity. Maybe we sell off and spike down to like 70, I don't know, 75, 75.20, 75.19, somewhere down here before we rally up and hit 77. And I mean, that could be what I'm looking for. I think that would be kind of realistic. This is something that I am watching as well for a slow markets trade. So along with that NASDAQ, maybe we could find something here in crude oil that could set us up really nice for an overnight trade. Just setting limits out there, just like, for example, and I think the best analogy that I could use is like if you're fishing, right? You're fishing, you cast a line out there, and if the market takes your trade, great. It's either going to be a winner or a loser, of course. Anything can happen. If not, it doesn't even get filled, rather than just forcing yourself into a trade. I would much rather wait for the market to give me what I'm looking for. And for this example, maybe, and this is purely example, not a signal, if I'm looking to buy crude oil and I'm looking for a run of liquidity, maybe I look to get in long somewhere down this level. Say, if we do sell off and we run liquidity, I would like to get in long at, for example, 75.20. And then I let this run overnight. And between now and tomorrow, if the market just rallies up, it sucks because you miss out on the move. If we do sell off, it will trigger me in, and I could get a good risk reward trade on that for a buy limit. I'm not seeing too great of an area for a buy stop, just like we were looking down here. Remember when we had this pattern flag and we were looking to buy? We were looking to buy the market. We were just looking to buy crude down here. However, unfortunately, I was looking to use a buy limit. I think it was at like 72, I don't know, 72.80. It was somewhere. I had a buy limit set down here. But I was also talking about a buy stop, right? Where we could get in as we start to break out, just like the NASDAQ trade last night, an order to get in as we break out. So the buy stop would have worked really, really good for this example because the buy limit did not get filled. And tonight, maybe it's something similar where we put a buy limit in, but I don't see any good, point of reference to put a buy stop in. Like, where would a decent point of reference to be if we were to get in on a breakout trade to the long side, a buy stop? Well, the first level I see is maybe this, right? There's a lot of resistance here. So there could be an argument to say if we rally up above 76.04 and we break above this, we could see continuation. I mean that's fair. I would much rather see some type of a pivot and then put a buy stop and look for a breakout on from that aspect. So buy stops are not in play on crude oil in the way that I like to trade. I'd much rather look for a buy limit. Next, let's take a look at, we could briefly take a look at Nikkei. Nikkei's one. I don't talk about it very much just because it's a more difficult market to trade. It's $25 per tick. It's not for the faint of heart. And for the traders that are looking to be consistent, I mean, this is definitely not one that I'm recommending because it's not for newer traders. And so it is the Japanese market. There is something to be said on that. This is slow markets. The Asian session is open. The Japanese Nikkei tends to be a little bit more volatile at this time of night. So, if you are trading it, just fair warning. Not much. It's kind of the same thing as the NASDAQ, right? We've rallied up. We're just kind of consolidating here and not much. Maybe the Nikkei is starting to wait. It's been buy the dip, right? Every single one of these little sell-offs have been great buying opportunities. We had a double bottom earlier. We rallied up. And so maybe we do more of the same. Maybe we wait for a push down to 38,000 and we look for an opportunity to buy the Nikkei. I'm not really sure. I'm a lot less confident trading the Nikkei because it's starting to become a little bit more choppy. Last but not least, let's take a look at gold. Wow, gold is as bullish. It's always bullish. I mean, lately, right? I mean, take a look at this. It's been in a bull market. We take a look at the. Let's start on the daily actually. Edris, I'll answer that question in a moment. The question is, what do I think about Hikinashi candles? So here's the daily chart. We're bumping up against the highs. We have the high at 2570s, and we're sitting here at 2560s and continuing to make our way to 2600. 2600, I've been looking at it. It's taking a lot longer than I really want it to, but it's a... Do I say this is a slow grind up compared to this last move that we've seen in March and April? We're just going up and to the right, making higher lows and higher highs. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. And we take a look at the hourly chart. And it's more of the same, right? It's a nice trending market. This is a beautiful market. We're getting these pullbacks, opportunities to get long, and we get the nice rally, a pullback, opportunity to get long. Is this the pullback and an opportunity to get long before we have a breakout trade? I don't know. It's looking pretty good from the technical standpoint, right? If we do get that breakout above this, 2570 level, I mean, 2600's just right there. It's not too far away, to be honest. I'm going to be watching it. Let's take a look at where are the Topstep daily levels. Let's see that. Topstep daily levels. We do have a weekly kickoff high at 2590. We have a lot of levels, scattered throughout here. We have yesterday's high, 2563, which is a very nice level, right? That's yesterday's high. It looks like that came into play just an hour ago, and we sold off from yesterday's high, so that's great. We do have a yesterday's value high, right? We look at that's becoming a nice support and resistance. This was a nice area of resistance, support and resistance. And yeah, I do like this play where maybe we get a pullback, right? Maybe we get a sell-off down here towards 57, yesterday's value area high, and we could maybe find a long opportunity to come back up and test these 2563s. And, if we're in a good position and brave enough to try and hold a trade to the long side for a breakout and look for last week's high or even a weekly kickoff high at 2590s. It's going to be interesting to see. Now remember, at 8 p.m., we do see a spike in volatility here in gold, and going to be looking for opportunities to trade it as always and journal. Let's take a look at the 5-minute, and then we'll get to some Q&A as we watch this. I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear. Man, what a rally in gold. This is a 5-minute chart. That is quite the rally. We're starting to make some area that might, fail if we do start to break down. Yeah, I'm really starting to like a pullback down to these 2557s. We are starting to sell off a little bit. 57s, yeah, there is some nice areas of support and resistance right there at these 57s. So that's looking pretty attractive. Lately, the way that gold has been reacting at 8 p.m. is we get an initial remove, I can't speak. An initial move, which is, maybe we sell off, maybe we go up, and then we take a reversal about 10 minutes after 8 p.m. So going to watch this level around 57, see if we do get a sell-off and an opportunity to buy it around 57, or if we rally, right? If we start to break out and rally, if the initial move is long, can we find a short? That is going to be the next question, is if we do have the initial move to the long side, would we be brave enough to get into a short here in gold in such a strong rally? I'm not sure, but for the sake of education and watching this in the stream and answering questions, we're definitely going to be trying to place a trade. Let's say hit a take profit tonight. Yeah, it's been a little while on hitting a take profit in gold, right? Maybe I'm wrong. When was the last time we hit take profit in class here in gold? I think it's been a few sessions. At least from my memory, it's been a few sessions since we've hit a take profit in gold. It might be range bound. Yeah. You know what? That's probably the worst market condition that I see, and for me anyway, is I hate range bounds. Unless they're really big, really wide ranges, it can be good. But here at 8 p.m., it's slow markets, so the ranges typically are not too big. We did see some craziness happen a few weeks ago when we ran into all that volatility, but now we're back to normal market conditions. It's not like you have to hold a short 24 hours to scalp the gold. Yeah, Wiki Weber, it's not, right? It's however, when I do place trades, I really do want my trades to be in the direction of the higher time frame trend. That gives me a lot more confidence. And then, if you do catch a good trade and have more than one contract, I like to have a runner. But yeah, no, I agree with you. We should not hold a trade longer than 24 hours. We're at a prop firm. We're day trading. I do know if you have a live account, you could have that conversation with the risk management team. And, there could be possibilities, live traders, they're the real deal, live account, real money. And you can have that conversation to hold a trade overnight. MP said it, confirmed it during the TopstepTV. I was there. I asked him because I have a live account and I was curious. I'm like, well, what if I get into a good position, right? Like, this is purely example. What if gold sells off and we happen to get into 3 contracts down here at 57? And let's say this is a live account, okay? And we get into 3 contracts. We take the reversal trade. And gold just skyrockets, right? And I close one for take profit. I close another one for take profit. And it just goes. Some crazy news happened, and we're up towards, say, 2570s, and I'm holding one runner, and I just put my stop loss in. I say I'm going to just let this run overnight. I go to bed, and then you wake up in the morning, and gold's at 2600, and gold's all the way up to 2600, and you're like, wow, I don't want to close this position. I want to hold on to it for another day or two. And then, maybe you could have that conversation with the risk management team and say, hey, I got into a great position. I'm letting this runner go. Can I hold on to this trade for, another day? And, MP's like, that's beautiful. We are live traders. Once you go through, you pass a combine, you get into an express funded account, the risk management gives you the green light and says, okay, we want you in a live account, and you have so much more flexibility. You could change your risk parameters, right? Maybe you're trading 15 contracts and you're doing really, really well, and you bump that up to 20 contracts. You bump it up to 30. You guys seen on TopstepTV during fast markets, we're trading, I think MP had 40 contracts at one time. That's what happens when you're in a real prop firm, right? You're trading real money, live account, and you have that flexibility as long as you're proving yourself and you are trading with good risk management, because they love seeing it. And everyone could see, they could see your entries and exits, so you can't really hide anything. Trust me. Sometimes it sucks waking up in the morning and yeah. Yep. Eddie's just like, yep, here's Dakota coming off of a daily loss limit, or he just lost a combine or whatever. I mean, it's pure transparency. So Hikinashi, I have not traded Hikinashi in a live environment. I've looked at them. I've seen them. Are they here on Topstep X? I'm going to be honest. Let's take a look. Hikinashi. There they are. It's up to you. It's just a different point of view. It's just a different way of viewing these markets. Are they good? Are they bad? It's just another tool, right? We're looking at the normal candlestick patterns. Oh, that's cool. You could jump back and forth. That's look, it's not too much difference, right? I mean, it's really up to you. The way that I'm looking at this is I'm not seeing a dramatic difference just right here on the 1 minute chart. But it's really up to you. I don't have anything against Hikinashi or anything that can help you as a trader. I mean, visually, if it gives you an advantage, fancy way of displaying moving average. I mean, I don't know how I get rid of that one now. Interesting. Well, I'll find the way. Now it's stuck there on my chart forever. But yeah, nothing against them. I've tried Renko charts. Renko charts was one of the ones that I was trying for a while. Renko charts, range bars. There's so many other things out there. I mean, we could pull down this list and you could see, right? Maybe we just go to the old-fashioned line chart. Can we? I mean, you could even do the same thing on a line chart, right? Basic support and resistance. We could do the same analysis. I've done this for a little bit in my options trading. We could try. You could always test things out, right? But I would strongly recommend the first thing that you want to do is test it out in a practice account, right? Never just jump into something and think you could just trade it in a live environment. Maybe you get lucky, maybe not. But I've seen traders do line charts, right? There's nothing bad against them. I personally just do not like them. And yeah, Renko charts. This is something I've tried. I don't know how I feel about the Renko charts though. It was a while ago. It really was back. Yeah, a while ago. According to the line chart, this happens. Yeah, I mean, you could continue to find different ways to look at the market. Like Hoke said during Power Hour was so slow today. And just like he said, if you are looking for a trade, you're going to find it. It's not about just looking and finding a good trade. It's more about, developing a system, developing a process, practicing a process, and then repeating it over and over and over again, and then finding ways to improve it and adjust it because the market's going to change and you're going to always need to be changing with it. And so it's less about, oh, this is the best way to trade. I'm looking for a trade. I'm going to take a trade on the Renko chart this time. I'm going to take a trade on a candlestick chart this time, or this or this and this. The less you change, the better off you are. I was talking about statistics. Don't review your statistics every day. Don't review it maybe even once a week, maybe even every other week. The less you change, the better. You stay consistent for a period of time. Maybe you consistently lose money. Maybe you consistently break even. Whatever it is, do it consistently, and then you could start to adjust because you can't really improve anything you can't measure. What gets measured gets improved. Yeah, that's a better way of explaining it. What gets measured gets improved. Yeah. Nothing's really happening. We're coming up at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. we do see a spike in volatility, and typically I've been looking at lately it's been waiting for the move, and then we take the reversal. And so sure enough, it looks like we're starting to see that spike in volatility. It is now 8 p.m. Let's see what happens. Why am I never green? Someone asks. Do the opposite of what you do. And that's not a joke. It's not. I do this. I feel the same thing. Sometimes if you just are struggling and you can never make money, sometimes just look at the opposite of what you're doing, right? Fade yourself, and then maybe that could give you a different view of the market. Yeah. I think even Hogue said, it was Hogue or somebody said like, hey, you're really good at buying the tops and selling the bottoms, and you're losing tons of money. It's like, that's not the point, right? The point is that whatever you're doing it bad in a good way, right? Like, you're really good at buying the tops, and then you're really good at buying or selling the bottoms. I'm like, okay, well, whenever you buy, let me know so I could sell it, right? You're seeing something in the market pretty consistent, maybe. So try fading yourself. Just say, hey, I'm looking to buy this. This is looking really, really bullish to me. And right before you click buy, sell it and say, okay, now, and then you could review. Well, that made more sense. And maybe that's the exact opposite. We're starting to sell off here in gold. Let's see if we can get down to these 57s. I'd like to see these 57s. Saeed, footprint charts. I'm not sure. We do have this amazing area in the support. If you click this question mark, you could go through and submit the request. It might have even been submitted. If it has, go in and upvote that. Yeah, trading against the trend is always more attractive. I catch myself sometimes too. Trust me, I do catch myself trading against the trend. There is a 100 lot at 25.59. 25.59. There's a 100 lot order sitting there at 25.59. 100 contracts right there. I typically don't look at the dome, but when something just pops out that's not as normal, then I like to see that. So there's someone trying to sell it at 5.59. Let's see if we can get to these 57s. Maybe we get to these 57s. Maybe we get into that reversal, and then we can make a run back up and fill that order. Coach J short at 25.59 and a half. You front run that 100 contracts, huh? Short, yeah, like shorts were looking good. We're looking for a reversal. I'm looking for a reversal around these 57s. But there is room down. There is room down to 53. I do see 53, 52s. And maybe we could even run all the way down into these mid 40s. These mid 40s could also be an option. But yeah, we're getting to these 57s right now. We are about 3 minutes into the open. 3 minutes into the open. And so let's see if we could get some type of reversal trade. We did touch 57. 57.1. Christopher, 25.43. Went to 25.40 yesterday. Run it down overnight. Yeah, we're just looking for more of a quick in and out trade. Finding some buyers right here in the 57s. We'll see what happens. We have that order, the 100 contracts now moved down to 58. So who's ever wanting to sell this, it was at 59, moved it down to 58. So they're really wanting to be, oh, it's gone. And it's gone. Did it get filled? Coach Jay, you probably could see it a lot better than I can. Did it get filled? It was there, and now it's gone. But we're starting to slow down here at 57. Coach Soup, nope, it didn't get filled. They were, I don't know what the heck they were doing. Were they trying to spoof it? Scare the market? Oh, Coach Jay's over there trading on the mobile, shorting gold on the mobile device. So right there, we're right at this area of support. We'll see if this support will become resistance. That's what I'm going to look for. If not, there's going to be no trade, right? Wow, we're seeing a big spike in volatility now. Spike down to 56. Something's going on. Yeah, this is a spike of volatility that we're looking for. It's just been down, down, down. Still no trade. Still no trade. Oh, 55s. 55s are trading. Next area I'm going to see is 53. We are only 5 minutes in. 5 minutes into the 8 p.m. Central trade. Australian CPI, 830. 100. The 100 lots are back. What price are they at, Hoop? Yeah, that if you were able to get into a breakdown, that was the trade. That was the trade, a breakdown in gold. I'm going to wait. Yep, there's the 100 contracts at 56, 56.7. The 100 contracts. What a short. Great trade. Coach J coming in with the short gold. Coach J is on at the buzzer. So right after the market closed here on Topstep TV, he does have his own show at the buzzer, which is great. Love him. He will be here tomorrow during slow markets. He joins me on Wednesdays for slow markets. I love to have him. We are always talking about these trades. It's great to have his insights and back and forth. And I'm hoping to get more guests on here soon. I'm going to reach out to Nick for the tick. Maybe we could get Nick for a tick on. And Andre, maybe we could get Andre if Andre's listening, and I could probably have a conversation with him. I don't think we'll be swinging a 50 lot contract at slow markets. But maybe we could put a overnight trade on the house account. We'll see if that will happen. If we could get an overnight trade in the house account. One thing I was thinking of is, can we go to micro gold and take a look at a 100 tick chart? And you know what? This is something I was thinking about doing during slow markets. Trading micros at this on 100 tick charts. This gives me it's just kind of like zooming in. I'm starting to zoom in a little bit better doing this method, because I think that could have been the reversal right there. I think that was a 3-bar reversal. Oh, there's 200 and, oh, never mind. This is micros. It doesn't matter how big of a position size, but that could have been it, right? Switching to a different chart. Could have us a little bit more clarity and could have been in that opportunity, because if we go back to just regular gold, we do see that as well. It's a little bit, it's a little harder to see. And then if we go back to that 1 minute chart, it's pretty hard to see as well. So we'll see. We'll watch it. We've been doing this on the 1 minute chart, and it's about staying consistent. Are we at the 8:10 p.m.? We are 8:08, 2 minutes until we technically start to see that reversal that we're looking for. We'll see. Andreas, try 14 ticks. It's a whole new world. No, 100 ticks is my fastest time frame. I don't know what I'd do on a 14 tick chart. I would have a seizure. Not speaking about Hogue having a heart attack watching a 100 tick chart. I'll have heart attacks on a 14 tick chart. Yeah, we're still seeing some more consolidation. It is 9 minutes after. 9 minutes after. I am still looking for that reversal. One thing to take note. One thing that I'm watching and taking note on is we were looking at this to become support. Right at these 57s. 57s to become support. I'm going to go ahead and try and get into a 1 contract. I do need to switch this over to ticks. Let's switch this. Oh, come on. Charts and data. And we're going to go through ticks. Save it. Boom. And we'll see if we can get into a long. I do like that. To me, that was a reversal. We did break above this candlestick. I'm looking for a break above that. I'm trying to get into at a little bit of a better of a price. We'll see. We'll see if we can get filled. Yeah, it's now 8:10, and we're looking for a reversal at 8:10. 10 minutes past the hour. I'm going to just take this. That's the reversal, and then we're going to be risking. Ooh, that is a little bit on the riskies. Let's see, risking 31 ticks. 31 ticks. It's not the best trade
location that we've got on slow markets. Usually it's been around 20 ticks because what are we going to be looking for? This is more of a 1-to-1. Maybe we could get a run. Yeah, that is right where I'd want my first take profit. This is more of a 1-to-1 trade. I don't love it, but this would be following that reversal. Let's do it, right? Let's do this for the sake of, let's journal it. We'll see what we could do. Maybe we get into a second contract, but yeah, so far that is the reversal. It is now, 11 minutes past, and that would be the entry. And, this would have to be the stop loss. The stop loss would be at that pivot low, which is a wider stop loss than I would really like. And then the take profit right there at 56.60, right near this area, this high of the consolidation. So we'll watch it. Maybe this gives us a second entry. Maybe we could get into a second contract if we do see something where it looks like this, right? Maybe we could see this and we could get into either a second contract down here closer to 56 or get into a second contract around 57.6. And yeah, we'll see. This is a weird one. It seems like every trade is always different, but let's go ahead and do it. This is not a signals class. Remember, let's go ahead and get everything adjusted and set up. So this is going to be the normal stop loss. So normal stop loss, 30 ticks. Same, consistent, boring, right? Same setup, same entry, same stop loss. I mean, it's same thing every night. Night in, night out, same thing. Getting in, getting out. We're going to go ahead and make sure we put our entry as there. And this is only the first entry. Going to look for an opportunity to add to it. If we can get an opportunity to add to this. There we go. 1-to-1. That is the minimum risk reward that I really will ever take. 1-to-1 or greater. I prefer 2-to-1, but this is one where the stop loss just has to be wider than normal. I don't like this stop loss being so wide, but we are getting. I mean, it's a little bit better than a 1-to-1, but it's nonetheless. It's still a valid trade, even though it's ugly. It's ugly, but valid. Will you DCA? I'll scale into this, right? If the market does give us something like this and we catch a reversal, then maybe there can be an opportunity to get into a second contract if we get a reversal like this. And then we would be looking for a change in structure, some bullish structure where we're looking for a higher low. The stop loss will be the same. So that's why I would say scaling in with reason, knowing our risk, knowing our stop loss. The trade setup is getting in long on the reversal and keeping this as our stop loss. If we do break below this, the trade's invalid and it's over. It doesn't matter whether we get in here, 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 anywhere in this area is still a valid entry. Same stop loss, right? So if we would have gotten, maybe closer down here, if this was going to give us a tighter 3-bar reversal, we're going to have a really good risk reward because we'd only be risking 10 ticks instead of 30. And that's why I was saying if we did jump down to a 100 tick chart, right, it'd be a lot better if our entry was on like a 3-bar reversal on here, or just maybe we could have got in somewhere in this area. Then yeah, that was of course a better entry. The tighter you could get your stop loss, but the more riskier it is sometimes if you're trying to buy it, clear down here. I'd much rather wait for a reversal. I mean, we started to buy that. That's still not the most opportunistic, entry anyway, because it's not great trade location in terms of risk reward, because we're still getting a 1-to-1, but still not the best. Dollar cost averaging. Yeah, I mean, dollar cost averaging is meh. Ben Tegu, who's the worst trader on YouTube? Don't follow him. Is there somebody that you guys are referring to that I missed? Yeah, we're starting to sell off. So let's see if we could get a reversal down here and we can get into a second contract. And then we wait. You? Okay. All right. We got to get rid of the trash. You can follow me all you want if you think I am. Let's go to... How do you ban someone? I have yet to ban somebody in here. I mean, I don't mind it. Everyone who talks trash, I don't mind. People could talk trash all they want. The thing is, you get what you put out in this world. You really do. You come out, I mean, that's just the reality. You do get what you put out in this world. If you only talk negative about people, eventually karma comes back and bite you, whether it's in a month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. I mean, that's the reality of it. Yeah, I've never understood why people talk negative on other people. I mean, I could see it if they are really a bad person, right? Like, you never want to associate yourself with negativity at any level, right? There are some very, very heinous people that could harm and just want to cause nothing but hate. But I've never really seen that too dramatically. Yeah, I don't watch YouTube very much, so I actually can't say that too much. But yeah, we still didn't get that opportunity to get into a second trade. I would have much rather us, come down here, find another reason to get in. But once again, these candlesticks are just too big. The 3-bar reversal on this one would have been like right up here. And so the entry location on this was still not that great. I would have rather us came down maybe a little bit deeper towards these 55s and then have an opportunity to get in long. But yeah. So far it's been lackluster for a trade. Coach Shoop, he must have been in play. And you guys are hilarious. I've never used the block or any of the buttons. Yeah. Maybe you just haven't watched, right? Maybe somebody and there's always that where it's like for the give them for they do not know what they do. There's a lot of negligence when it comes to the internet. Jeremy, you have to do a lot for me to block you. Well, I thought we was going to have a good trade. We got a lot of volatility at 8 p.m. and it's kind of just stopped, right? We've seen the 100 lot chase it, or 100 contracts chase it. We came all the way down to 55s, bounced back up to 57, and now that I'm in, it's kind of slow. So let's actually do this. Aggressive trailing stop. We got to go through and do this. Let's make sure we put everything. All right, because the aggressive trailing stop has been more accurate. It's been outperforming, and I dare say minus 16 ticks. I'm going to do that aggressive trailing stop below this pivot. To me, that is a good area for an aggressive stop loss. And what did we say? It was minus 17 ticks. Yep. There we go. So there we go. We're in a much better position. 17, risking 17 to make 36 on this one. And now we watch. Now we watch and wait. Now this is real trading, right? Very boring, very, what do we call it? Plain. Very plain. This is trading at its finest. And it's even worse because it's trading slow markets. It would really test your patience. And that being said, it's the same thing every single night, trying to be consistent. And going back to that question earlier is that's the key. Am I going to be consistently losing money? So for example, if you find that out that, okay, the aggressive trailing stop is consistently losing money over a period of a year or a month, not a year, that'd be way too long. Say a month, just like that trader where I was answering that question earlier as well. I can't make money. I lose. I trade micros and I lose. Well, if you can understand the statistics behind it, if you can understand the process behind it, then you can learn and maybe just do the exact opposite. So for this example, right? Maybe you're watching me and you've watched me for a little while, and like, hey, I've noticed, Coach Dakota, in your class, when you're doing these reversal trades, I've noticed that your normal stop loss is consistently losing money. I'm like, okay, well that's a good thing to point out, because what that would mean is you'll want to do the exact opposite of where I'm getting in, and then have your take profit where my normal stop loss is, and then and then adjust, right? That's the point of trading. The point is understanding the system you're trading, understanding, trying to be consistent, and whatever you do as consistently as you can. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that word, but yeah, that is the point. It's understanding, how can I make money in this market? Am I making it with an aggressive trailing stop? Am I making it with a normal stop loss? Am I making it getting in here or there? Am I making it, where is the consistency? Where is that profitability that I'm looking for in this market, so that over a long period of time, I'm going to be having a positive expectancy and I'll be making money in the longer term. Of course, I'm going to have to adjust it because the markets will be changing and I will need to change and adjust with it. That is trading at its finest. It really is. And that's why I love the markets, because it's never boring. I mean, outside of just sitting here watching it, right? Yeah, while we watch this, let's move on to the next. I don't want to sit here and watch it. There's so much to talk about. Let's talk about the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ. Let's move over to the 1 hour chart. So the trade last night for the slow markets, if you guys joined me, hopefully that one guy's still watching, because even though you blocked, I mean, sure, I don't mind if they still watch, and maybe they could learn something. Over here on the chart, on the 1 hour chart, yesterday we had a slow markets trade. This is about where we were at. We were looking for a break up and a long, and we were looking to take profit at where? We were looking at 645. 645 was our take profit, and I believe, what was it? 595 was our buy stop. We were looking to get a breakout trade to the long side of this pivot, and we were looking to get long. And then our stop loss, if you guys noticed, was about $400. It was around 45, right? Was it 545? I don't know. You guys might have to remind me. So this was the overnight trade that we were going to place. We set it up as an example. It's not a signals class because it's purely for education. And last night, let's actually zoom into we'll look at a 1 hour chart, and then we'll zoom in on the 5 minute chart and talk about it a little bit more. And then we'll see if there's anything else going into tonight. So sure enough, we did get triggered in, and it took some time, right? This is the London session, the London Open. And then, a couple hours after the London Open, we did hit our take profit. So that was a beautiful example that you can place an order overnight, a pending order. You could turn your computer off. You could go to sleep. If depending on where you're at around the world or what your schedule is like, you can go to work and let this trade run out. The risk reward was $500 or $400. So it was risking $400 to make $400. This example, it was plus $400. Plus $400 while you're not looking at the charts. You're not stressing out about the P&L fluctuations. It was a very good and a beautiful example where, oh my gosh, you're risking, 50 points to make 50 points. 50 points sounds pretty dramatic when you're trading minis. But it was just micros. It was just 4 micros, risking $400 to make $400. Simple as that. So what did it look like on a 5-minute chart? So let's review this on a 5-minute chart, because this is just as important. So this is where we were, and there's our entry. We were looking to get into a long using a buy stop if we broke above this pivot. So zooming in, this was the pivot last night, right? And if we broke out, we'd have our stop loss at 545. I think we were like right here. Yeah, maybe this is where we were. We have our stop loss. Yeah, this is exactly where we were at. We would have our stop loss below this pivot and our take profit at 445, right? I mean, 441 was probably a better one, but we're just looking at this consolidation, and we were even looking, I think, even further left. But that was the trade, and the way it played out on the 5-minute chart, you see it came down here. It didn't stop us out because the stop loss was not activated. The stop loss only gets activated once the initial entry gets triggered, which was a buy stop at 595. Sure enough, market finally triggered us in. So we did get triggered in right there. So there is the entry. And, if this is a very long trade, it'd be a miserable night or a trade to sit here and stay awake and watch it. But market does what it does, right? This is like 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours. This is a very, very long trade. And then right at around, what is this? Right at London Open, right? That is, an hour after the London Open, 3 a.m., 3:10 a.m. Central is when it hit the take profit, right? Beautiful example. Let's see if there's anything like this tonight. Now remember, it is not a signals class. I say that like 50 times every single evening. Maybe we see something similar, right? We're kind of setting up for a similar trade here in the NASDAQ, where we did hold this support like I was talking about earlier at the beginning when I did the rapid fire. I went through that. This could be that same opportunity. Do we find an area to buy it? Maybe looking for a similar take profit, because we could make a run back up to these highs around, this resistance around 640s. So let's take a look at the 5-minute and see if there's any good reference and points there. The first thing I'm actually seeing is we do have a lot of support that is resistance there. So maybe this could be a good area for a take profit. 631 for a take profit. But I'm not seeing too good of an area for a buy stop. Maybe a buy stop if we break above this. But then I'm squeezing right now. This is where it's too small of a trade for me. 20 points. Yes, 20 points. We can make that as much as we want. We could put 3 minis on, and that could be a big trade. But I'm looking at this in terms of risk reward. If we look at a stop loss, the stop loss is going to be really big for the amount of take profit, unless we feel that we could come back up and run even higher. But man, I don't feel too confident in this one. Maybe you could have a trade and say if we break above 613, we'll run up to 660 again. I'm just going to go ahead and say a big fat no on that one. I don't like that setup. It could work. That's just the way that I'm reading the market. On the opposite side, I see some traders asking, I'm not confident selling this. I'm really not, just because of this, right? It was immediate rejection and rally up. I don't want to put myself in a position to be short this market. It could work though. Maybe if we are looking for anything, maybe we get in short on a breakdown, break below this pivot. We could put our stop loss below this previous pivot, and then some take profits. Our take profits. Still, this is the first area that I'm looking at, and it still does not have that great of a risk reward. And then I'm not brave enough to put buy limits on tonight because we have earnings tomorrow. Buy limit means we're getting in as the market's going against us. I typically don't like buy limits in the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ can really move. Usually it's breakouts. Every once in a while I can make an argument for a buy limit, but I was actually more attracted to crude oil. So crude oil is one that I think we could let an example run overnight. So we've been very bullish. We've had a huge move up from $72 a barrel all the way up to $77.50. And we've gotten this really nice pullback. We are right around this area of support and resistance. We're kind of bouncing on that. We still are not, it's just been small green candles, right? I mean, from 75.42, 50 cents higher. So what I would actually prefer, because I'm not seeing any good points of buy stops, maybe we could do a buy limit as an example tonight. So I would like a run of liquidity. We all know I love it when crude oil sells off and it runs stops and then we turn around and rally. So the first area I am seeing would possibly be a buy limit around 75.10. So I'm just going to put this out there, and then we could kind of, fine tune it, adjust it as needed. We'll take a look at risk. We'll take a look at reward. So this is how I do it on an hourly chart. I try and eyeball it. I try and set things up based off of technical analysis. We do have this nice little reference here that we made of some support and resistance. So I do like that. An area for a stop loss that I'm immediately seeing could be right down here around 74.47. 74.47. It's below this pivot. It's below that one as well. So this could be a decent area for a stop loss. And then for a take profit, back up here towards 77s. So 77s could be a decent area for a take profit. And then the question is, is this realistic, right? Of course this is realistic, but is it realistic in a day? That is the better question. For crude oil to sell all the way off down to 75 and then rally all the way back up to 77, is that realistic in a single day? I mean, yeah, we could do it. We do see nice, moves in volatility, but I'm going to say no. That is not very realistic in terms of an expectations. So what I want to do is now I want to actually lower my take profit and stop loss. If we do get there, what is a more realistic trade? Trying to stay inside this template, staying inside of this template. So I'm looking to buy it on a run of liquidity. Where am I putting my stop loss? Where am I putting my take profit? So immediately getting all the way down to 75, maybe that's not as realistic as I thought it would be. There could be an argument for 75.30. And I do see a pivot there that we could come down and test. So 75.30, we're going to do round numbers because it's easier for me. And then maybe a tighter stop loss at 74.75, but then take profit that's going to be more realistic is going to be 76.50. I do see we had the initial breakdown, and we also found an area of support right there. And we'll zoom in and we're going to fine tune it. Let's do that now. This is a 5-minute chart now. You can kind of see this a little bit better, and we're starting to zoom in like Google Maps, and we can start to see support and resistance. You can see this support and resistance, and we do have this one, right? This is actually a lot more realistic around 76.30s. So I'm going to go ahead and lower that take profit to 76.30s. And then a stop loss, that is looking much, much better. We do have a lot of resistance and some support there. So 74.70, maybe we could make an argument below this, 74.63. And then we take a look, is this a good risk reward? It's not as good as I want it to be, as I could like it to be. It's a little bit better of a one-to-one. This is more of a breakout trade risk reward that I like. To me, on a buy limit, it would need to be 3-to-1, 2-to-1. And so on that note, there is a possibility. I'm actually thinking that this could be a better. Let's do this for an example. I like it. Let's do this one. I do see that we did gap up, and that became support and resistance. So that could be a fair reason for a stop loss. So I'm going to put this in for the example tonight. This might not even get triggered. Okay, this might not even get triggered. That's the point of it. It's just like a fishing line. That being said, let's let's see, where would be the risk reward? So let's do this at round numbers. I'm just going to go ahead and do 90. I'm going to go ahead and do 30. So that is going to be the trade. Getting in at 75.30 using a buy limit, meaning the market must sell off, trigger in as a buy limit. And then we're going to look for a reversal, or it's going to reverse, and hopefully it reverses. And then we rally back up to 76.30. So immediately it's going to be 100 ticks to the long side. So $1, an exact $1 move on crude oil. So 100 ticks to the long side, which on a mini is $1,000. For one contract, that's $1,000. For the risk side, we're risking 40 ticks. That would be risking 400. I like it. Risking 400 to make 1,000. Of course, the risk reward could be a little bit better, but I think this is going to be a good example. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys how. So over here into the settings, we go to the risk. We're going to be risking 400. The profit is going to be 1,000. Automatically apply. Click on save. We'll now go in here, and remember, this is purely an example. We'll get out of that one and make sure we put it again. Sell stop 1. And there it is. There is the trade for tonight. Not a signal, but purely an example that if you want to practice this, that is how you go through the mechanics, gain that confidence to, if you want, place a trade, leave a pending order, kind of like cast that line as I was giving that very interesting analogy. And we'll see that. It looks like we're still in gold. We're still in gold? What? Did I just completely forget about this? See, that's what I'm talking. I have such a short-term memory. I forget about this. Yeah, that was me forgetting about this trade. See, I set things up and I forget about it. I do that all the time and everything. So the aggressive trailing stop got stopped out, and the normal stop loss is still valid. Do we just close this out? I mean, or do we just let this play out? The aggressive trailing stop would have been minus 17 ticks on the aggressive trailing stop. The normal stop loss is still sitting there looking like we could get stopped out. It's right there below the low of day. I think I'm going to let this play out, and for the rest of the evening, or for the class, we'll come back and do it. For the second buy, to me would have been either right here, right? The second entry, but we wasn't getting that good of an entry location. Maybe there's an argument to say you get in around here on maybe this breakup. But yeah, no, there's no sense of getting into a second entry or contract, especially this far after 8 p.m. The 8 p.m. is an 8 p.m. volatility spike, trying to get the reversal there. And this is just very, very just not a great performing trade in terms of the volatility, being able to manage it. But aggressive stop loss has continued to be the outperformer. It's been making the most money. It's been losing the less money. When it does lose, it loses the less. When we do make money, it's been catching the trades and this gold 8 p.m. trade a lot better compared to this normal stop loss. I mean, for this particular example, it's almost half, right? And yes, we did stop out, and there's still that very ever so slightly probability that we could just reverse and rally up. But it, to me, and the way that it's been doing it is that, yes, this normal stop loss has been underperforming the aggressive stop loss. And I think it's a great example. Too biased and not enough chart signal following on gold today. I mean, that was the signal. The signal was the reversal right at the time that we're testing out. Dakota, go change your NQ order. Did I have something on NQ? I didn't have NQ order, did I? I had a crude oil. Did I have anything on the micros? Yeah, this is just a combine. Coach's account. For that exact reason, this is for coach and for this class. Thank you. Oh, what a catch. What a catch by There you go. See, that's part of it. That's part of it. That's what I'm talking about. These human errors that can play a role. What's going to happen is if we sell off, and I'm going to say, I was looking to sell it. You guys changed my mind. That's what trading buddies are for. I make human errors all the time like that. Now, if it sells off, I blame you guys. And it was, yeah, there's a beautiful example. Practice. I do that sometimes. Obvious. You guys see me do it. See me do it in front of you guys. Moving on. Let's get to some of these questions now. We have moderators in the chat that's feeding me some of these questions that I do miss. How long does it take for you to pass 150K combine on average? Victor, it depends. A lot of the question is it depends. Fade the chat. Yeah, no. So it depends because should you pass it on 2 days? Nah. No, you shouldn't really be forcing yourself to try and pass a combine in 2 days. You shouldn't even think about passing the combine in a X amount of days. You should not be thinking about X amount of days to pass the combine. You should just be thinking about, just like we did on this gold, follow the process. And when you're ready and when you are ready to trade, you're going to pass that combine. You will. That's 5 minutes. That's 1 minute. So just like I've been doing every single night, of course, I wouldn't trade gold exactly like this because we're doing these theoreticals, right? We're saying, what if we have an aggressive stop loss? We're trying to do a strategy here. Let's do this. And so, of course, I'm not going to force myself into a trade. And I'm going to do something similar, right? Where we are getting in and getting out, following this process every single night. Is it going to be, 2 days? Is it going to be 12 days? Is it going to be 20 days? I don't know. Because is the market going to give me that setup? Maybe. Is it going to give me enough money to pass the 150K combine? I don't know. It's more about managing your risk and focusing on the process, and then the profits will come as long as you're focusing on this process. New low on gold. Not yet. It's looking like it, but not yet. So Dakota, the gasoline at gas stations, would that be considered natural gas or crude oil? Steve Hollywood, that is not natural gas. I mean, they have natural gas at gas stations. You don't put natural gas. Well, there are natural gas cars. Dude, how have you been? Puff. I have not really been trading my live account as very often. I've been focused, especially on TopstepTV. It's been XFAs and combines because I've been focusing on this. And then here's a little bit of a clue on something I've been working behind the scenes on is, TopstepTV is getting bigger and bigger, right? We have Nick for a Tick doing the Sunday afternoons. We have or Sunday evening, wherever you're at around the world. When the market opens, we have Coach J, who's now doing At the Buzzer. We have D, who's doing the London. And I'm working on a few other things that is going to be so useful for everybody here in the chat. And that reminds me, question for everybody watching. I'm going to do a poll. Is this your first slow markets class? I'm trying to really get a good gauge of the number of traders here and where we are all at in our journey, right? Because part of this is I'm continuing to do as much as I can in as little as I can. So efficiency is what I strive to do. And by doing so and becoming one of the as efficient as I can, so making the most of my time, right? If I'm only able to dedicate X amount of hours, I want to provide as much value as I can. I want to do as much as I can in that X amount of hours. And so understanding how many new traders are there, how many, experienced traders are there, and to understand what you guys are wanting and what will help you guys and girls become better traders is my goal. And in order for me to do that, I have to understand, right? So I really do need to understand, where everybody is at, because I can't just come in here and start talking about, really in-depth information, because there's so many new traders out here that are very young, that are, turning 18 or going through college and just learning about how do I trade. And those people need to ask more entry-level questions and get more entry-level, coaching and help. And that's kind of what I'm really wanting to do as well. Is I don't want to sit here and talk about a 3-bar reversal every single night. I don't want to sit here and talk about some very, very basic things to somebody who's been trading for 20 plus years. So that being said, this is the fun time that I look forward to. Trader statistics. I did this a little bit during TopstepTV. I kind of just took over the shoulder tap today's session for that 30 minutes. So if you guys want me to, everybody in the chat, let me go here. Oh, there you go. So if you want me to review your statistics, there is the link. It's in the YouTube chat. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. It's right around 10% of the voters are first time in slow markets. So welcome. If you are new, let me know in the chat. I'd love to see who's new and who's not, because I'm going to pin that. I pin that link. That is YouTube's Discord. That is Topstep's Discord, and that's my channel. And you can share me your statistics. We did just get stopped out of there, finally. That was a long trade. So in the performance stats, you could come into here and click on share, copy that link, and then paste it to that link I shared in the YouTube chat, and we'll review it. Let's go here. I'm going to make sure I journal. This is a very, very long trade. And so maybe even putting a time stop on this one was probably the right decision. And the way you love to journal, download the image. Beautiful. Go ahead into the trader statistics. Go to the day. Here's the day. And we will add the journal and do this image. And click on save. And that's how the journal is set. Ashley, I'm a new one. Welcome. And don't be afraid to ask any question. No question is a bad question, whether it's very, very basic. Just never feel embarrassed to ask anything. Okay, let's move on to the next. Let's see you guys, everyone who wants me to review this. My goal is maybe I could review everybody's. There's tons of traders who have statistics. Okay, here is one of them. I haven't really even seen it yet. Oh man. Oh wow. Take a look at this one. Let's see how it looks. All right, here we go. Here's the look into detail of some of my red days. I have a problem of being up 4,000 to 7,000 and refuse to walk away and hit daily loss limit. Side note, this is 4 XFAs. So you're trading across 4 express funded accounts. So these statistics are times 4. So you're up about $105,000 in your express funded accounts. I believe, and you started these in August 6th. So not too much of trade history. Just looking at this, it's an upside down daily risk reward, right? Where you are having, kind of a lot more red days than you are green days, but your green days are really green, right? So this is good to see. I like seeing this, that you could tell that this is a profitable trader because it's just small, 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 and then a nice win. And then same thing, nice win. And you usually see the opposite in a lot of traders, right? Where you see small win, 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 and then blowing in the account. You usually see the opposite. So 61% win trade, that's good, right? Average loss, risk reward, about a little less than 1-to-1, but obviously you can see that has the positive profit factor. $26,000. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be really critical. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to spend a lot more time reviewing this because I feel like it deserves more of my time and it deserves more of my respect because you have a lot of money in your express funded accounts. Number one, the first thing I would suggest, I mean, it's quite a bit of money. And so maybe one thing that you would consider is taking a payout, right? If you are eligible for a payout, maybe take some, right? Maybe take out whatever you have into this so that you have a lot less stress thinking, if you lose it, then you just completely lost the money. Maybe take some of that out. That is definitely something to consider if you haven't already. So scrolling down, Monday appears your most challenging trading day. Consider adjusting your strategy. So most active day is your most profitable day. It looks like you took 61 trades on your most profitable day. Sundays, interesting. So that's interesting. You used your daily loss limit. That still shows how important a daily loss limit is. Looks like 228 trades in this amount of time. It seems like it's on the higher end. Let's go through here. Yeah, I'm going to try as much as I can to go in depth on this because it's really important. So 5 contracts. It looks like you're trading 5 contracts on your best trade. So your best trade was 5 contracts short. It looks like you caught, about 50, 60 points on that one. Your worst trade was 3 short, daily loss limit. I'm assuming that was slippage or you were up for the day and it was just a really bad trade or unfortunate trade. So first things first. Letting your losers run. So could that be it? So that's the first thing I'm seeing. And let me know as I'm going through your statistics. If these are your statistics, feel free to just message in that and answer, anything that you might want to add or say. But the first thing that stands out is that, maybe you have a hard time just taking a loss, right? Where you just want to either break even, you're letting the majority of these trades that go over 10 minutes into an hour, into 2 hours, they are the losers. It looks like a nice little bell curve. Your sweet spot is between basically 1 to 2 minutes. That is a nice sweet spot. So there is something to be said. I know a lot of traders who in a similar situation, they're good, they're profitable, they make money. And if anything, this is just purely example. You don't have to take my advice. Maybe you don't even take my advice. But if the trade lasts longer than 10 minutes, just close it, right? That could be an example. Hey, this trade lasted 10 minutes. Close it, because odds are if it's over 10 minutes, you're going to lose just based off this. That's just an example. It looks like you had one day that you journaled. You're using your daily loss limit. And now I bag on traders all the time who say, who use their daily loss limit. The daily loss limit is a good thing. A lot of statistics and a lot of traders, and this is very important. Unfortunately, there's only, a lot of people already dropped off and stopped watching, but this is important. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong. There really isn't. It might be scary for a lot of people seeing this, but there is nothing wrong using this the exact opposite. Okay. So sure enough, think of it the opposite of what I typically criticize, right? Traders are winning 3,000, winning 3,000, winning 3,000, winning 3,000, and then boom, minus 16,000, right? And usually it's about $200. What I see a lot on here is plus 200, plus 200, plus 200, plus 200, minus 3,000, right? So this is a good thing. This shows how great a daily loss limit can be as long as your winning days are greater. So this is good to see. That's all your trading statistics are. Let's take a look, and you wanted me to dive in depth at one of your days. Let's take a look. Let's look at your first day. Nothing too dramatic that I'm seeing here. Long, short, 3 trades. Looks like you're letting. Plus, you started out with a great trade and then loss. I'm just trying to get an understanding of your losing days. You want me to look at your losing days. 50 points, $1,200 on one contract. So here's one, right? I think this is an example of letting your losers run. You're in these first 3 trades, 3 contracts, winner. 3 contracts, winner. 3 contracts, winner, right? This looks like it's a 5-point winner, 4-point winner, 5-point winner, a 10-point winner. And your winners, you're letting them, and I'm doing in-depth analysis. So this is a 5-minute winner, about a 8-minute. This one's a 4-minute, maybe 5-minute. But then your losses, right? These big, ugly losses, that's 17. This one's 25. This one's, 25 minutes. This one's 25 minutes. You entered all this at the same time, actually. It looks like you were scaling in, and then you held this to the daily loss limit. Let's keep looking. I'm going through this. This is important for me to give you good feedback. And you're up $100,000, and like I said, you deserve a lot more in depth here. Oh, here we go. This is all just, here. This is, I think I know what happened here. This sucks. This is emotionally hard, right? You enter a trade at 11:36 and say it's going against you. Your entry price was 707. And this is a different time. Oh, okay. London. This is London. Is this the London Open? This looks like it's the London Open. So you entered it, or that's the exit time. Enter before the London Open. Entered before the London Open. So you're scaling in. So are you buying it as it's, this is a short. It looks like you're selling it as it goes up. So this example, I might be wrong, but it looks like you sold some, it went against you. An hour later, you sold some more. 30 minutes later, you sold another one. And then maybe, 9 minutes later, you sold 3 more. And then 10 minutes later at the London Open, you sold another one, and then you just hit your daily loss limit. So you are adding to losers and just holding it, right? So that just looking at this, I don't want to just say more on trade, but that could be. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what this looks like, because I see the exit price, 745, 740. Yeah, these are all closed out at the same time. And so that makes sense when I come and look at this and say you're letting your losers run and you're not letting your winners run. So that's exactly what happened on that day. Let's take a look at this. You journaled here. So I do like this journal, but I think this is what you're talking about. This one's a hard one. You were up $7,500, $7,700. And then you let that come back and hit your daily loss limit. So let's see what happened. Because, you guys are probably asking and thinking the same thing. Let's see if you've put any information on here. All right. So now remember, guys, this is I want to criticize as much as I can, and hopefully give you some answers. Starting of the day, 5 contracts in the NASDAQ, so your trading size, which is perfectly fine if you could understand and you can manage risk. And when you are making money like this, it's okay to trade size. It really is. It's all about comparison. You're up 26,000 per account. Times that by 4. So it's okay to trade size. So 5 contracts, minus 500, 100, and you had some good winners to start the day. This looks like it's in the evening on this. I'm curious on what time zone this is. 1,000. Yeah, I do like these trades. Looks like each one of these trades are really quick, really in and out, really quick trades, scalps, like under 10 minutes, under 5 minutes on a lot of these trades. You're scalping, and then did the same thing happen, right? So it looks like you went long at 748. Then you added to the long at 749. Added to the long again at 750. Added to it again at 755. Added to it again at 806. And added to again at 808. And again at 810. Again at 818. I'm just making sure. Yeah, this one's okay. This is when it got stopped out. So look at this exit time. That all closed you out, right? So it looks like the same case where you're just add to the long as it's selling off, adding, and you're buying it as the market's going down, and then it just hits you hard, right? And then it's just like last attempt, and then there's a lot of emotion. I think everything after that is kind of just emotions, right? Where, 1 and then boom, 5 in and out, and then you just tried one more, and then daily loss limit could very well be there. But at this time, the damage is already done, right? You're already down minus 2,200 because of this one trade. $7,000, $9,000 on one trade. That is hard, right? Where if you look at these other ones, they're not too bad. Looks like you even got in at a couple of 15 lots. But this one trade is ugly. It really is. That's what ruined this day. Everything after that is a little bit meaningless because there's just probably emotions after that. But I will say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 contracts as the market's going against you. Were you scaling in and you had a stop loss? I mean, I couldn't imagine you saying that you're going to risk $7,000, almost $9,000 on this trade. I don't see that happening. So yeah, I know Mick always says whenever you're up money, it's, make sure you walk away with at least half of it. But yeah, that's what it is. My best advice for you, I think, is going to be the same. I think it still holds up. Watch out for those trades over 10 minutes. You are doing really well for those trades that last less than like 10 minutes. Just scalping, you're in the zone, you start trading good, but that is it. You were just buying it as the market sells off, and you were adding to a losing position. Maybe like that. Let's take a look real quick. I don't mind spending a little extra time for this. Is this same thing? This is the same thing. It is. Look, it looks like you're selling it. You sold some more and some more, and then you're just like, screw it. 5, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Screw it. Throw 5 more in there, and boom, daily loss limit. I've been there. I've done that, right? This isn't the first time I see it. See it relatively often, right? And then, exit out at 612, right? You started buying it, or you started selling it at 586, sold at 587, 592, 593, 599, 601, and then boom, daily loss limit. So once again, adding to a loser, where maybe the smart move was just to cut it off. You'd have been able to just close it out. Maybe you have half this of a losing day, but yeah, it looks like you went on to a losing streak, which can sometimes be emotional. Same thing. Look, you trade good, right? This is a great trade. You got in, you got out. This is another great trade. You got in, you got out. Different times. But then again, it looks like you shorted 3, then you added to it, and then you added to it again, and then you added to it again. So it's like, 3, and then 6, then 9, then 12 day loss limit. And this looks like I could probably have the confidence and go to each one of your negative days and assume that's going to be the same. Because here we are again, where I could look at these exit times and say, you got short 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, and then daily loss limit. And you were already up $4,000 trading in and out. Pretty good, scalping the market. And then it's just that one losing trade that you let. And from the moment you entered you entered at 5:15 a.m. and then you're getting stopped out an almost, 40 minutes later, almost 30 minutes later, at your DLL. No, not even that. Wow, that's their exit time. So you entered, an hour. That's an hour trade that you let that one run against you. But then your good winning trades, look at this, $800, 15 minutes, great winning trade. This one was a little bit of a longer winning trade. This is during the afternoon. Interesting. Yeah, this was a good winning trade, 3 minutes. So yeah, I bet I could go through each one of these and maybe they are the same or very similar, right? So I'm not going to spend much more time. I hope that helps. Now remember, the goal is to help you. This is great trading, regardless of how negative that looks and how bad that is. At the end of the day, you're making money. This is a beautiful equity curve. Look at this. You started out minus 3,000, really close to blowing your XFAs. You came back, you grinded it out, and you are up $26,000. And you're saying it's times 4, so you're up over $105,000 in your XFAs. So great job overall. At the end of the day, just understand that. I think it's always important to find ways to improve. That is important to understand and see. Maybe you journal more. Maybe that is another recommendation, but you are having some great winning days. If you could just hold on to some of those profits on these losing days, it could be just that much better. We're always looking to improve. Great trading statistics. I don't mind spending more time with this trader who deserves it. Glad to see you and hope to see you. How are you doing tonight? You're up 11,000 tonight. You're already up 11,000 today. So it looks like you were shorting NASDAQ with 5 contracts, and you're doing pretty well. So So tomorrow, I don't want to see you lose this. You're up 11,000 already. The market's just started. It's Wednesday. I don't want to see this going bad. Okay. Do not let this turn into a negative day. I want to hear your name on Shoulder Tap and the markets. I want to see that. I'm going to hold you responsible because I know who you are now. You're in the YouTube chat, or the chat. So I'm going to watch this. Keep it up. Great trading. Love to see it. Maybe you could just stay consistent. Don't think about the leaderboard. That's one thing I want to point out. Do not think about the leaderboard. Do not think about it. The leaderboard means nothing. It really does mean nothing. Okay? It's just names on traders who are doing the best. There's millions and millions of traders around the world, or thousands of traders around the world that are making so much more money. So it's about staying profit. It's about consistent. At the end of the day, you'd rather have more money in your pocket than stress about the leaderboard. So love to see this. I'm going to save it, and hopefully I could see you here tomorrow night. If you don't mind posting your trading statistics tomorrow night, I'd love to see that. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it off. I know I went a little bit over, but this is, you guys could probably tell how passionate I am. I know the viewers have started to drop off, and that's fine. But this is why I became a coach, to see stuff like this, to hopefully help traders stay on this path. It's not just about getting on this path, it's about staying on this path, right? You could say traders could get on this path, but I've seen plenty of traders on this path before, maybe not as big, but in terms of statistics, yes. I want to see traders like this stay on the path. That is the most important. Can you get on it? Number one. And then can you stay on it? Not too much about the dollar amounts, but the statistics. You could always size up and see these dollar amounts. It's more about the statistics, getting better, improving. It's about process over profits. Understand the daily loss limit is no longer there on new accounts, new XFAs, but use it. It comes very, very important, especially when you're being, you could get emotional, or when something like this can happen. The daily loss limit, I could almost guarantee you this trader, is happy that there's a daily loss limit. If there wasn't a daily loss limit, there's potential to blow the $26,000, and you don't want that. That being said, I will see you tomorrow night, and tomorrow afternoon. I am on Power Hour tomorrow afternoon, and then I will see you guys tomorrow night. Take care.